I will say this. I feel like the last few times I was in for Dan, it was like May. And I don't know, maybe we talked to NFL draft or something. This is wild. I can't remember the last time I was in for Dan, like in October. It's sometimes when you're on the air, you have to figure out, okay, what are the topics today? This is one where it's like, what don't we talk about? What are the biggest topics? And I'm going to throw a little curveball. Get it?
Oh.
I'm going to throw a little curveball and start by talking baseball. You know why? I am now convinced that there is no sport where there's a bigger difference between regular season and playoffs as baseball. It's not even close. You can't get me to watch a regular season baseball game on TV because it's like baseball's hilarious during regular season. They win and they're like, we won. Play again tomorrow. They lose. It's like, yeah, we lost. We'll get them tomorrow. I mean, baseball. I can go to a baseball game. I actually went to a Guardian baseball game in August. It was amazing. I had 4 brats, 6 beers midway through the second inning. I totally get why people go to baseball. In my mind, honestly, I was with the Eagles because it was during the preseason games, and they were going to play the Browns. I didn't care if there were 8-year-olds on the field. It was a beautiful Friday night in downtown Cleveland. I'm drinking, I'm eating. It was amazing. But these playoff games, because I'm a Phillies fan, right? At heart, every pitch is so intense. It is amazing. The crowd is going nuts. So we know that they amp it up in terms of the intensity in like playoff hockey, right? NFL, they increase the speed, right? They're flying around. NBA, it's like they're playing harder defense in the playoffs. I am telling you right now, I think regular season baseball and playoff baseball are like 2 different sports. And if people think that I'm wrong, or if you agree with me, I want to hear from you. 877-3DP-SHOW. You can email us, dp@danpatrick.com. You can always email me directly over at rosstucker.com. You can go to danpatrick.com, shout out Chat Row. You can hit us up on Twitter. The show is at DP Show. I am at Ross Tucker NFL. What does Dan always say? I want to welcome in our television audience on Peacock, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. All of the affiliates, I think last time I checked, it was 3,428 Fox Sports Radio affiliates. And I love my peeps that listen later via podcast and will tweet me at 10 o'clock at night. You're totally right about baseball, bro. Totally right about playoff baseball. Because in their mind, they're listening to it live. I love it. I got a bunch of podcasts myself, if you guys ever miss me, including the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. But the thing that's interesting to me about baseball, not only the intensity difference, okay? But there's people I know that are really into baseball that are really starting to complain about the playoff format.
Shorter series?
I mean, the Mets won 100 games, and they're out in a 3-game series. The Dodgers, the Dodgers own the Padres, except for this most recent series. I'm a Phillies fan. The Braves own the Phillies, except for this playoff series. I think you can make an argument. Now, I will tell you, I think it's better that way because I like the uncertainty. But there's got to be people out there that are thinking, this isn't right. We need to have 7-game series. The Padres aren't better than the Dodgers. The Phillies aren't better than the Braves. I like it because I like that once you get to the October, anything can happen, right? Do you guys all like it, or is there someone that would argue it's not the best way to determine? I feel like out of all the sports, the sport where the best team wins it most often is the NBA. NBA, the best team wins it, 7-game series, whatever. Second, I think second might be the NFL. The best team wins it in the NFL a decent amount. I don't know. I mean, it feels like the team that deserves to win it wins a decent amount in the NFL. Hockey, there's no telling what happens. Hockey is whatever. And baseball, I mean, I don't know. Maybe baseball. We'll see what happens with the Yankees and the Guardians tonight. Seton.
Baseball is so strange because you can win 111 games and it means nothing.
Yeah. You can. I mean, then why?
No, it got them a whole series. They didn't even have to play in the first round.
Okay, but
so
then
it's like they won a whole series.
Yeah, but it's still like you. Okay, so you won 111 games. Yeah, but can you beat this next team 4 times? And then can you beat this next team or what? You know what I mean? Like you still have to. Ultimately the 111 games, or if you win 100 games, you win 99 games. It still doesn't really mean anything.
You know what's wild too about baseball? It might be the only sport that first game, like Dodgers Padres, that first game Braves Phillies, the Braves look like they hadn't played baseball in a month. It's almost like these guys are so used to their routine and playing every day that it's almost an advantage for the wild card team, at least in that first game in the divisional series. Paulie?
During the regular season, the Dodgers and Padres weren't even close. The Dodgers had outscored their opponents by 334 runs. That's top 5 all time, going back like 130 years. The Padres outscored their opponents by 45 runs. They were an above-average team. They didn't have Tatis, their big guy, and same with the Braves. I mean, the Braves, 101 wins, but it's better than when they had that one-game playoff where you could win 98 and be out in 3 hours.
Yes.
But the Dodgers had one horrible inning the other night. They gave up 5 runs when they had it.
Well, listen, I want to hear from you guys in terms of your best and worst because there will be a lot. For sure. I know, Fritzy, you wanted to say something?
The season would go on way too long and pitchers would throw their arms out, but wild card best of 5 and then everything else best of 7, I would like to see that just to weed out who really are the best teams, but then it would go into like mid-late November.
Here's my recommendation to baseball, okay? Start the week after the Super Bowl and before the NFL regular season starts. Do about 100 regular season games and then go right into the playoff. Here's a question for you guys, and I want the listeners to chime in on this as well. Hit me up at Ross Tucker NFL or 877-3DP show. I know what the Phillies record is. I kind of follow them, but I don't watch them at all in the regular season. And they get to the playoffs, I have been glued to every inning. I text and talk to my buddies like I'm the biggest Phillies fan ever now. I'm like agonizing over every pitch. Am I a bandwagon fan, or is it acceptable when you're 43, your main job is football, you have 2 kids? Like, you know what I am? I am the type of fan that when I was 10 years old and I loved Mike Schmidt and Von Hayes, okay, I'm the type of fan that I hated. You know, the people that are diehard all year, they're diehard. Like, the Phillies hadn't made the playoffs since 2011.
You have to have a lot of time available to be a hardcore baseball fan, to watch 162.
Right, so am I a bandwagon jumper?
No,
is it totally acceptable what I'm doing?
You are a Phillies fan. You are not a hardcore supporter of the Phillies.
Right.
A day-to-day, watch call-ins, listen to sports radio, grind out every win or loss.
No, definitely not.
That's a different
I'm the
echelon.
same with Sixers and Flyers. I couldn't even tell you 5 Flyers. If the Flyers get in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you'll think I'm like Mr. Hockey if they get that far. I think that's normal, right? I think that's natural.